Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be talking to a comedy peer and friend of mine from the Colorado area. Her name is Mel Klema. I met her a couple years ago while she was in town in the Bay Area at an open mic, and she was pretty cute, pretty funny, and I want to talk to her today and find out a little bit more about her and stuff, and I'm pretty excited about that and everything. Um, so today's a really crazy day because it's the birthday of Bill Cosby. Yes, Rapo Molesty himself, Bill Cosby. And all I have to say is, fuck you, Bill Cosby. And happy birthday to you with lots of Jell-O and New Coke in hell. Okay, so yeah, here is my interview with my good friend, Mel Klema. Hey Mel, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Tommy. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Great.
So yeah, a few years ago, I met you at the Backyard Coffee Company in Redwood City, California. You were in town. You had friends with you. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
You were the only one who.
Yeah.
You were the only one who laughed at anything I said when I was on that night. And
I'm a supporter.
yes, you are a supporter. And I liked your set, though, and I thought you had a very infectious smile and dimples.
Thank you.
Of course. And by the way, that coffee house closed down 4 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it closed down. It closed down 3 days after I got approved to host a women-only comedy show that month.
Oh, my gosh. That's
Yeah.
a bummer.
Yeah, the owner got the notification like 3 days later that her co-owner was selling the place, and it's already been bought and everything. It was a clusterfuck and a half.
Yeah, that's the way things work a lot of the time, unfortunately.
Yeah,
With this business. Yeah.
especially in the Bay Area with the high fucking rents.
Yes. Yeah.
So did you go to any other open mics that week in the Bay?
No, I think that was my very first out-of-state open mic or even performance at all. And I was there for work. I worked for real estate investing. So I just grabbed people from that conference and brought them. And, that was the only mic really I got to hit up while I was there.
Crazy. Wow. It's funny how things work out that way.
Yeah, and I've never been back either. I've been back to California, but that's the only performance in California I've ever done.
Well, consider yourself lucky because the Bay Area fucking sucks with the comedy scene.
Oh, man. How does it suck? Are there not enough mics?
Oh, we'll get into that in a little bit. I mean, there's plenty of mics, but
Okay.
we'll get into that in a little bit. But I want to go all the way back to the beginning. Did you always know that you were funny growing up?
Well, not at the very beginning. You'll think this is funny. I was diagnosed with chronic shyness when I was going into preschool. So, I had to go into this class with, other kids that were socially awkward with, lisps or lazy eyes or whatever just to get us used to communicating with other people.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that wasn't because I was shy necessarily. It was more because I was kind of ahead of my time. I liked the teachers. I didn't like the kids. So I would go, hang out with the teachers a lot and not really spend time with my peers. But now I feel like I do really well socially, and I just kind of came out of my shell in about third grade, and then I became, the class clown from then on, for sure.
Wow. That's the same story I have. I was very shy growing up, and I was bullied a lot. Mm-hmm. And my only means of getting through it was performing and just dressing up as my favorite characters, performing for the family after dinner, doing imaginary Saturday Night Live sketches and just
Nice.
stuff like that. That was just my only means of doing it. I'm still very shy when I'm not performing, though.
Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of comedians, it's funny because we all can have different backgrounds, but such this, like, similar thread of how our lives have been and how we are, like, we're extroverted introverts where, like, we can go up and perform in front of people, but we need, like, alone time and we can be shy and, narcissistic, but still, like, need a lot of, and still have low self-esteem and need a lot of attention, like, it's all this crazy mix inside of all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you watch stand-up comedy when you were a kid?
We watched Saturday Night Live, and we definitely watched a lot of comedians growing up, but it was more like sitcoms, or I saw jokes from The Simpsons that I thought were funny, and then I could repeat that verbatim and make, like, my whole family laugh. So I just learned from TV shows and would repeat that, and then found my voice kind of there when I could think of a quick or a witty statement to say it, and kind of went on from there.
But stand-up came later, though?
Well, I kind of wanted to be I wanted to be like a actress and dancer when I was really young, because I didn't think I really knew comedians existed. And so then I wanted to be a comedian. I thought it was funny. I was voted class clown and best storyteller in high school and middle school. So it was recognizable, but I didn't start performing until I was 25 officially, because I went through a quarter life crisis where I just want to do comedy. So that's where I found my voice.
Wow, because I live here in Redding now, which is 3 hours away from the Bay Area. It's a little redneck town, fucking hot, full of just people who are very standoffish and rude. And I meet a lot of millennials, either in your age group or a lot younger. They have never seen stand-up comedy or can name one stand-up comedian ever. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck do you laugh at? What do you watch? It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I think, too, there's a lot of options. It's more spread out of what people find comedy. You have so many different mediums, because like right now, there's podcasts, and there's live comedy, and then there's all these specials on TV, and then there's just YouTube and Vine, and there's so many different outlets for people to be called a comedian, no longer just a stand-up comedian. That kind of, gave us what we have now as comedy.
Yeah, it's just so weird to me. I mean, I know people in my age group who know who Jackie Gleason is. I mean, these kids don't know any comedians. It's weird. Yeah,
it's true. And I don't know, I think it helps when you're raised, when your parents are, because my parents, were very much into comedy, and so that kind of helps foster it. And some of the people my age or younger are having to discover it on their own, where I grew up around it. So it's kind of different there, too.
Well, a lot of these kids, their parents are either deeply conservative and religious, or their parents are crackheads who couldn't afford a TV because they spent all their money on crack.
That'll happen.
Yep. So what year did you first start doing stand-up, and where at?
2015. I was, it was that summer, and I was turning 25, and I was at lunch for work, and we always get drinks with this kind of job that I had. We just would get drinks at our birthday lunches. Then I got a little loose, and I just said, I want to do stand-up comedy. And my boss connected me with a coach that she knew, and he had performed stand-up comedy, and he was in theater. So I met with him for a couple months. He got me ready, helped me write, knew what to expect. And my very first open mic was actually at a yoga studio, if you believe it, which was great because I was the only stand-up comedian. I probably didn't do that great thinking back on it, but they were very supportive, super nice. They like snapped instead of clapped. But then I tried my first real one right after that, and that's when I got like a taste of the bright lights in your face. You can't see the audience, and it was just I forgot everything at one moment and had to kind of roll with it until it came back to me, and I got like the real taste for it. It's like, this is what I want to do. And I was approached by the community, and that was in Colorado Springs, where I live now. And I was, I think being a female, I was invited in really easily because there was a lot of dudes and one girl, so they wanted another lady. So I got invited in really quickly, which was nice, and just started hitting up every mic I could every night of the week, as often as I could, all the time.
Wow.
Writing constantly, performing constantly, and I was just left a relationship, so I was living on my own, and so I had a lot of time and emotions kind of to go through. So it helped me a lot and gave me confidence, and it gave me friends. You know, I got to meet. I was invited into the community and meeting new people all the time, and it was just really exciting. Definitely got me hooked right away.
Well, just remember, once you're successful, they're no longer your friends. Always remember that.
Yeah, well, it's definitely, I remember the people who helped me out at the beginning, and that we've been friends for a long time, but every comedian has their issues, you know, so sometimes, you know, I've had really good friends not show up to shows I booked them on, or kind of screw me over in this way or that. So I understand more how comedians work. So my expectations are lower, I guess.
Yeah.
I should say, and I'm very clear in my expectations of people, so they know what I want, because I have to remember not everybody understands, because I run a pretty tight ship for my shows.
That's good. So,
yeah, it's like herding cats sometimes, though. No, I get what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Working with other comedians.
Yeah, in the Bay, it's pretty bad. But were you nervous the first time you went up?
Oh, hell yes. And my friend was outside, like, finishing a conversation, and I was about to go up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go up without her here to listen. So that was frustrating and nerve-wracking, and I did okay, but because I had practiced it so much, and every now and then I still get those, like, the stomach pain or the butterflies. Usually I do, like, right before I go up, but I'm pretty comfortable. I remember my voice shaking the first few performances and mics that I've done, and sweating, and, you know, I just feel like I have to go pee all the time, the whole time I'm at the venue. And I've got that less and less now, but when I go to a brand new venue, I get that kind of nervousness again. Or I get nervous now because I host so many shows, like, what if this person doesn't show up? What if the audience doesn't like some of my comedians? I always still kind of get nervous for them, just kind of naturally.
Yeah, the only time I've ever been nervous is when I haven't done it for a while, and then when I get back up, I just like, but is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? You know, it's a weird feeling. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, had you been writing?
Sometimes.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes I can't. I'm surprised I'm not more nervous. After I've been doing it for a while, now I can step up pretty quickly and easily and be comfortable, which just comes from knowing my set so well. I can just be saying it, and I'll still be thinking other things in my head, like paying attention to the audience, and I can just say it without even thinking.
Mm-hmm. Have you been writing at home?
I wrote specifically for stand-up for about 2 months before I performed my very first 5 minutes. I recorded something that was not good, and I sent it to my friends, and they were just like, oh, you know, just trying to kind of get a rhythm. And I had my coach look at stuff, and he helped me. He didn't necessarily write it, but he helped me, like, come up with premises and jokes, or kind of how to deliver things So I wrote a lot at home beforehand to get ready. And then once I was performing, because I was performing for the same comedians all the time, I wanted to have new punchlines for them. So that kept me writing and writing and writing at the very beginning.
Yeah, the first time I did stand-up, my friend and I, we've been talking about doing stand-up for years, and then he discovered this place in San Francisco, which also closed down at the end of the last year, called the Brainwash Cafe. It was a part coffee house, part laundromat, and part open mic. And
oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was an awesome place. But I said, "Are you fucking crazy? We don't have anything to say." And he's like, "I'll buy us a notepad and we can write on the train." And that's what we did. And
oh, wow.
All I could come up with was this rant about how I didn't approve of Katie Holmes marrying Tom Cruise at that time, because this was 2006. That, and then I did some jokes from another comedian that I liked, and I got huge laughs, and I was just like, I'm not going to come off stage. I love this,
Yeah.
And so I stuck with it, and I immediately started writing my own stuff the very next week, and that's how it began.
Sweet. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Plus, I had just found out the week before that I needed to lose weight, and this was my way of not thinking about food. I was thinking about jokes, and I ate, slept comedy for the next year and a half.
Nice. Yeah, that's what happens. It takes you over.
Yeah.
It really does.
Have you gotten good at crowd work?
Yeah, because I'm a host, I try to involve crowd work when I can. I have some jokes that specifically have it, where sometimes it's just been amazing, and then sometimes, I don't know if you have them in California, but in Colorado we have cannabis clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of comedy in Colorado Springs happen at cannabis clubs. So that is where I never do crowd work. I've learned I can talk to drunk people, but it's hard to talk to stoned people, for sure. So I kind of look at the venue and decide how involved people are before I try it.
Yeah. Crowd work is my specialty, but I try to do as little of it as possible because of the amount of minutes I'm on stage, because I get booked for the fucking worst shows, and sometimes I just don't have enough time to do crowd work. I want to do all my material I've been writing and working on, but
yeah,
if I'm doing a show that's 7 minutes and I'm killing with my written material, I'll make it a point to do at least a minute of crowd work and then go back to it, just so I can be a narcissistic show-off.
Right? Yeah. There's that narcissism that all comedians have.
Yeah.
It's funny, everybody does. We went to a comedian's wedding a week ago, and was they refused to open up the microphone for speeches because they didn't want it to turn into an open mic. The bride was like, my mom is here. I'm not going to allow you guys to start passing around a microphone. I was like, that's a good idea. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. Do you work both blue and clean?
Mostly we have no limit where we perform. I try, as I'm a host, I've been trying to get more and more clean material because I'd like to have that available for venues. I'm working on a show right now for a veteran-owned brewery that wants to keep it kid-friendly. I'm that's harder to keep it kid-friendly material. So I have a 5 to maybe 10 if I wanted to work on it again. 10 minutes of 5 minutes of clean. But most of my stuff, when I first started writing, I was very sexual. Most of my stuff was sexual.
Awesome.
And I still have, some sexual material, and some of it's observational. But I've been trying to get more personal in where just some for me, it's more like the content
Yeah.
and be a little disturbing, and I deliver it very sweetly. And so it's like this juxtaposition where that's sort of where my shtick is, I guess. Because people are like, is this what? Like, they don't expect me to say the things that I say. So, pretty fun to see their reaction.
Yeah, I just love lifting the rug out from the audience and just seeing their reaction. Yeah. It's the best.
Yes.
But what's the Colorado comedy scene like, mostly?
Well, Denver is the heart of it, and Denver's very popular for comedy. It's like a mecca in our area because it's the biggest city. If you think about all the other states kind of surrounding us, and the state itself, most people who are serious about comedy are moving to Denver, and that's where there's shows. You know, every night of the week there's open mics, there's more venues, there's more opportunity, there's several comedy clubs. Where I'm in Colorado Springs, and that's an hour south of Denver, and I kind of like it here because I'm a big fish in a small pond. So we try to have a friendly relationship with Denver. I book Denver comedians frequently because I also have a show in another city. And I go to mics in Denver, and I'm trying to work on getting to know them. But there's fewer of us in the spring, so we work well together. So we perform mostly at breweries and cannabis clubs, and we have one comedy club in Colorado Springs. And I just got booked there for the first time. I've been trying for a long time, but I'll be there in September. I'll be hosting, which is very exciting for me. That was the goal that I finally achieved by winning a comedy competition. I had to win. So we have, old brand and new brand. We definitely have young comedians. Then we have like the 40, the 50, the 60-somethings that have been doing it for a long time. That have toured and are maybe back here just doing it or never quite made it big. It's interesting, definitely, and a lot more free-flowing. We don't do a lot of clean shows. Definitely whatever you want to say goes. Type of comedy, for sure.
I would fit in over there, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Colorado is a big mix of people, so you never know quite what your audience is going to be like. Because Colorado Springs has 5 military bases. Mm-hmm. You could have a lot of military people there. We also have a lot of mega churches. You could get super religious people at some of your shows. We also have a hippie convent up in the mountains on our west side. So you get some of the hippie and more liberal side. So it's a wide range of people and ages and backgrounds. So you just try to keep material that's true to you, and if it's genuine, most people like it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I know Joey Diaz got his start in Colorado back in the early 90s.
Yeah, so did Roseanne Barr, actually, Colorado Springs. I find interesting.
Way before her.
That was the 80s.
Before him, yeah.
Yeah.
Early 80s. Mm-hmm. Sam Kinison got her to California.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the San Francisco comedy scene is just fucked up because there's one of the worst things that ever happened to the San Francisco comedy scene was all the dive bars and coffee houses jumping on the bandwagon and getting an open mic night because it spawned so many backstabbing douchebags who are like friends of the real comics, and they're only doing the comedy so they can support their drug habits or their illegitimate children. They don't give a fuck about comedy. And they just talk so badly about the real comedians behind their backs, and they hinder them from getting booked, like me and shit. I had to go through that after I recovered from my accident in 2015, which is when I met you. I just started working hard. I was writing every day, because I had that's the free time I had, and I was going to open mics and just. I was doing so good killing and everything, and next thing you know, all these douchebags are like fucking saying shit about me, and I was on good terms with them, in the beginning, and it's just so fucked up that after a year and a half of that, by end of 2016, I just had enough of it, and I decided I was gonna move to Reading with my mom to help her pay the rent and everything because I just needed to get away from those toxic people, because I'd been in it for 10 years and that was enough,
Yeah.
Do you guys have comics like that?
Well, we have few, definitely. I would just say, we have people on drugs come in and out. All the comedians are, honest, but ours are more few. We'll have somebody accusing somebody of joke theft, and kind of can draw sides. Or we had a female comedian do an insensitive joke about Rosa Parks, and another comedian who had quite a following. He had, been on Letterman in the 90s and toured, been on the Academy Awards and different events. So he has a huge following. He attacked her on social media and she ended up almost losing her job. So there definitely will be arguments or things that I think a lot of people can stop because of other comedians, not necessarily because of the work. So there's, like I said, all the comedians are very similar. We all aren't quite right.
Yeah.
So when you get a bunch of us together, there's going to be drama, there's going to be issues, there's going to be people who are doing the wrong thing just because we're all a little off, I feel like.
Yeah, I just tell people when you start doing stand-up comedy in your town, whether it's in San Francisco or Colorado or Washington or anywhere, do it for 2 years and then get the hell out of there and go somewhere else. Because if you stay there, you're going to get into a comfort zone, especially if you're an MC or a feature at your local comedy club, because you're going to get into a comfort zone. You're going to be always identified with that place. That's what happened to me. I was a regular at this club in Sunnyvale called Rooster T. Feathers, and I became identified with that place. The last time I performed there, or the next to last time, because I came back a few months ago, the next to last time, I got standing ovation for the first time in the last 6 years I'd been performing there. And I remember Jay Leno saying in an interview, if it gets to a point where you're getting standing ovations, get the hell out of there, because they're always going to identify you with that place.
Oh, wow.
So I had to do that. But I tell them, I say, do it for 2 years in your hometown and then get the hell out, especially if you want to make it a career, because you're competing with so many people in your hometown and everything. It's not going to happen. You have to travel. You have to go to New York, Boston, Chicago, and then finally LA if you really want to make it that big,
Yeah.
And I wish somebody had told me this 10 years ago. I had no friends or mentors in the business when I started. Everyone just fucking hated me because I was a guy with Asperger's syndrome who happened to be a good joke writer, and that was a threat to so many people. And I think it's just silly.
Yeah, it's so silly. It's silly when it's a threat because I've been able to believe it's not what's my slice of the pie, it's how many pies are there. We shouldn't be competing with each other. There's so much to work together with and learn from each other, and not be so protective over what we have, because they're really, I've been able to find so much just being open to the idea of how much is there out there. I've been able to book crazy amounts of shows, just being open to any idea and collaborate with anybody and help anybody that I can that wants it.
That's good. Yeah, there's a few comedians I know who are like that. They are willing to help any comedian, and they're not an asshole like so many. And I'm very lucky to be associated with those ones.
Yeah.
Have you played any comedy competitions or festivals?
Yeah, I just won in Colorado. We had a Colorado Springs, what's kind of like a Southern Colorado comedy competition. It was the Sons of Comedy Anarchy comedy tournament, and this is my third year competing in it, and I actually won the whole thing. So that was super exciting. Out of 48 comedians, I got first place. I won $500, a hosting spot, and a little trophy, the Dave Frost Award. which is remembering a comedian that passed away when we started the very first competition 3 years ago. So it was a huge honor, really exciting. And now my next goal will be comedy festivals, because I kind of changed my professional life with my career to be able to be more open to travel for comedy. So now I just serve beer and do marketing for people on the side, so then I can travel for comedy competitions and festivals. So that's next step now that I won this one. I got some confidence and have more material. I just need to start filming myself so I can submit it.
Oh, that's
better
awesome.
videos.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've auditioned. I've like submitted for festivals and competitions, what have you. I haven't gotten anything. There's one that I did in 2015. There's a comedy club in Burbank called Flappers, and they have a contest every summer, or a festival every summer. I'm sorry, called the Burbank Comedy Festival. And I auditioned for them in 2015. I had been out of the hospital for about 6 months. This is like around the time I met you, and I was still pretty frail, and I just wasn't ready as I thought I was, even though I got big laughs. But looking back, I should have waited. And then I tried to do it again. I was going to do it again in 2016, but then I thought I was going to be moving a lot sooner than I did. And then I was going to do it this past year, and I couldn't get down there. So I'm definitely going to do it this year, and hopefully I'll get in. And then there's a comedy competition in LA called the U.S. Comedy Competition, and I'm thinking of doing that too. And that's easy. All you have to do is sign up, give them $40, and then you're on. And you also can do a makeup show if you bomb, which is good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But do you see yourself moving out of Colorado to further your comedy career?
I don't know if I see it to further my comedy career. My boyfriend and I were thinking about living in maybe the Pacific Northwest, just to try out living somewhere else. Colorado is definitely like my home. I'm a native. Colorado is what I love, and I'd probably like to have a family here, but I'd like to go live somewhere else and try out a different comedy scene. My goal with comedy is to maybe get some like trips paid for with it, like do weekends here or there. I don't know, and then I use it maybe for like the public speaking skills of it. I don't know what my future is in it. I've used it so much for events too. So I definitely want to travel more for it before I would decide to move for it. I'm 28, so I have to kind of like think about where I would want to live, because then, as I get older and older, I just want to think about starting a family and different things like that, and that gets harder if I'm doing a bunch of comedy, and that's be more settled, and then leave like maybe a weekend a month and go do a show somewhere else and get paid enough to pay for the little weekend trip. It's kind of my goal.
Yeah. If I had the confidence that I have now to pursue the biz, I would have left 5-6 years ago and just gone to LA or something, or New York or something, because I'm paying the price of it now living here in Redding. I'm just waiting for either my mom to retire or I sell a screenplay so I can move out to Hollywood, because I can't afford to live out there right now, with my Social Security I get. And my mom, I mean, she also has the option of transferring her job out there, but it just depends on how much money she'll make out there, but I definitely want to live out there. It's always been my dream.
Yeah, it seems very competitive, and like that's where you either have to go to like LA or New York to really get found and be in the places. But I do enjoy that I get to do 15, 20, 30-minute sets. I get a headline, do big shows here, where I don't get that opportunity in other places where there's more competition. Not saying that I don't think, after a lot of work, I could probably like earn a spot there, but it's really nice here how I get to have a lot more time and a lot more opportunities, I feel like, to really hone my craft being in a smaller community for it.
Oh, absolutely. And especially since you're still relatively young, I mean, maybe you got another couple more years before you want to move out and everything, but at least you're getting your craft honed in a small community, and it's supportive.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I had some haters when I won the comedy competition.
We all do.
And I was surprised. I really did not. Maybe it was naivety. Maybe I just didn't want to believe that people would get upset, because I feel like I earned it. I did well every set, but the competition was set up where it was on audience vote. And I'm a really good marketer, and I know a lot of people. So I invited a lot of people to a lot of shows. So I won frequently at audience vote, because most people there were there to see me. And once we got to the final, I brought a lot of people, but I didn't bring enough I got other people that were neutral to vote for me too. It's not like only the amount of people that I voted for me. And I did well, and I played the game right. And so people are upset with me. Even the creators of the competition were a little bit upset with me. And, I let myself be sad for one day about it. And then from there on, I was like, you know what? I'm successful enough to have haters. Like it's just going to happen. And so I'm better off because of it. And everybody that's not a comedian, I get really excited to tell them that's the one. I'd much rather have them be upset with me and be a winner than have them be okay with me and not have won. It feels better to be a winner. I don't care if they're mad.
Right. Yeah, I did this comedy competition. I did it 4 times back in 2016. It was at the San Jose Improv, and what happens is they had like 15 to 20 comics, and 2 win by an audience vote and by not a judge vote, but just like the producer, basically a producer's vote.
Yeah, I like that, when there can be another voice of reason who's just kind of a professional who's grading it.
Yeah, so the first 3 times I do it, I kill, and I get 3rd place, which means I didn't get anything. But the first winner gets to be the middle act for big names, and then the second winner gets to be MC. So I didn't get any of that. And then the fourth time I do it, I go on stage and I bomb because I got some bad news, a bad phone call before I went on, and and after I'm done, this guy goes on that I cannot stand. He is very unprofessional. He booked me for a show like 9 months before, and I tried to I was messaging him all month long, asking him, some further information about the show. And then the night of it, he announces on Facebook it's been canceled, and I was just so fucking mad at him. Yeah. So he goes on a couple people after me. His first joke gets the only laugh of the set, and then at 90 seconds he's given the light. And after the show, when they announced the first place winner, it's him. And then the next day on Facebook, it's announced that the competition is permanently canceled due to cheating. And I know that he gave marijuana to whoever was producing that night. I just fucking know he did. Yeah, because he's well known for selling weed to a lot of other comedians and shit. And I was just fuming with that. I just hate that kind of shit, And it goes on a lot in the Bay Area. It goes on a lot, and nobody wants to hear.
Everywhere.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear about it when I bring it up. But it's true. I mean, fucking that kind of shit goes on, and I was pretty pissed.
Yeah, totally. It's difficult. There's a lot of clique too in comedy. You get groups and friends that a lot of loyalty that is expected in it. So it's interesting when you get in it. You kind of learn more and more about the community and how it is so similar from city to city. There are a lot of common threads.
That's what I mean. I mean, they're satellite comics is what they are. They just think that they're gonna get some level of success just because of their association with somebody, and it doesn't always work that way. And
yeah,
they're just, arrogant, and they're talking shit about the real comics, and they're just taking their spots, and they're killing with jokes they either steal from other comics or jokes that they got out of a joke book or something.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, everything has to be original. We're very unless somebody's performing the first time, and if anybody does any jokes that we know are not theirs, there's always one or two comedians that take it upon themselves to go talk to somebody and let them know that we only respect jokes. So even if you're going to go up there and bomb and stuff, that's going to be way better than somebody who's performing somebody else's material.
Oh, I've never been accused of stealing jokes, but if that ever happens, you're playing with fire, because I write my shit, and I'm sure that there's going to be at least one or two jokes that somebody else either did or it's parallel thinking, or something.
Yeah, I agree a lot with that. Yeah.
But don't even accuse me of stealing, because that is just not the case, And we do have this one guy in the Bay Area who I've been having a really big battle with. He brags about how many open mics he goes to a year, like over 700, and I know why he does it, because he's stealing other people's jokes and shit. And he's still working. He's still out there working at the Improv and shit, and nobody has cracked down on him, and I'm waiting for it, because he's been saying some pretty mean and vicious things about me since I've pursued comedy full time, and I've known him for like 7 years, And
oh gosh.
He and I had this huge blow up back in February, in which I called him out on every sin, every dark secret I know about him that other comedians had told me. Oh, he didn't think too highly about that, so he blocked me, because that was his only defense,
Yeah.
It was,
a lot of blocking goes on in comedy between the comedians.
Oh yeah, it was a sweet victory, I have to say. But he's not. We're not. He doesn't block me on Twitter. But if I ever hear of him saying shit again, then I'll fucking message him on Twitter. But hopefully that won't happen. Have your parents?
Yeah.
Have your parents seen your comedy?
Yes, they're pretty supportive. I've always had kind of been able to be free and to say what I want, and I share a lot with my parents. So they actually came, my first year, so 2015 of doing comedy, they came and saw me at a show because they were in Colorado Springs for Thanksgiving weekend, and it was at a cannabis club. And it was while you could still drink. So my parents don't smoke. My dad was in I probably shouldn't even say it, but was in the military at the time. So he's like, I don't even know if I could be here. But then my mom brought her wine, and they brought some beer, and my mom said at the end, you know who I thought was the funniest? The boys who were drinking water. She did not find, people got up on stage with joints or different things, and she just found their brand of comedy, like rambling and, kind of stoner humor, not as entertaining. So it was interesting, and, my dad, one of my sets, you can see my dad's bald head from the audience, and sometimes you just see his hand, like, slam up on top of his head, like, oh, no! And he always says, I really enjoy the stories that you make up. He just wants to believe everything that I say on stage is fiction, because it never really happened. And I'll just let him keep thinking that. So that's how he gets by with it.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
a really supportive family. It's great.
That's great. So they saw you right at the beginning.
Yeah. And now I do a monthly show in my hometown. So my hometown's about 2 hours away. So I live 1 hour south of Denver, and this town is 1 hour north of Denver. It's like 2 hours from here near Fort Collins, in a town called Windsor. Windsor, Colorado, and they have one brewery, and I have a monthly show that I do there where I bring 3 comedians from across Colorado, and there's some pretty, like, it's legit names, and it's legit money, and it's a really great show, and it's about 100 people that we perform for, and it's just amazing. And it's at High Hop Brewery, and my parents come to that most of the time. Like, my dad always comes. My mom doesn't always. But they're really supportive, and I get other family members and friends from high school. And my teachers, my middle school teachers came. Mm-hmm. That was, like, crazy to have them there. But it's been fun. And I have my 10-year reunion in August for high school, 10-year high school reunion. And they want me to do comedy at that. So people aren't surprised, I guess, in my past, and they've all been supportive of me doing it. And my grandma's from down in Kansas. I even performed clean comedy 2 years in a row for their talent show. So I try to do it wherever I can, and I've gotten a lot of support. So that's been really, and I invite people everywhere all the time. I have my bank teller, my dental hygienist, people who work in the dispensary. I just have everyone I can invite and talk to about. I have them come to all my shows.
That's great.
As I can.
That's great. I have very little support in my comedy because I'm just not everybody's cup of tea. I'm an acquired taste,
Yeah.
Doing sets with words like fuck, pussy, queef, G-spot. I say all the words.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think there's a time and place for that, and then I think sometimes it's nice to have a set that is more versatile because, while still being true to yourself, it's good to have a set that can go well to different audiences. I think that's really an important skill.
Now, there's so many people who have not seen me live, but they've seen my YouTube videos, and I got quite a bit of YouTube videos. I got some of them with me killing, some of them with me bombing, but either way, they see the videos and they're just like, yeah, we know, we love you, but we rather go watch Louis C.K. or something. It's like he's fucking raunchy too,
Right.
It's fucking.
Why did you post videos of you bombing?
No. Well, okay.
Oh.
They were taped, right? And
yeah.
I told my friend to tape me that night. I didn't know how the show was going to go. I didn't know that I was going to bomb, right? So I was just like,
well, nobody knows. It's never the plan.
Yeah. So like I don't post those ones on like Facebook or social media or anything, but I have them so I can learn from myself, like that.
Yeah, totally.
And the problem is that they're out there and people can see them, right? But I do got videos of me killing where people just love them.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the parents thing, I told my parents in the very beginning I didn't want them to see me until I got good. And my mom finally saw me for the first time in 2013. She saw me bomb, but it was still, she still saw me though. I was hosting an open mic night. I hosted at this dive bar in San Mateo, California for 6 weeks. The first 2 nights that I hosted, it was fucking great. The first night actually was a record breaker because it hadn't been busy in about 5 years on a Thursday night, that bar. And I had people showing up because I promoted it for months and months before, like 3 months, and I had comics showing up and everything. All the comics who hated me, of course, boycotted and told people not to show up, but a lot of people didn't listen to them. But it was pretty successful, but my mom saw me, and I bombed, and, but at least she saw me. And, of course, she's seen many videos of me since. She was there the night that I did the Burbank audition where I killed, And then my dad, he hasn't seen me live, but he's seen many videos, and he likes what I do as well. So I got really good parental support,
That's so great. Yeah. You got it, at least that way.
Yeah.
from your dad, yeah.
You got my parents. I got selected friends, and stuff. I just want more. I just want to reach a wider audience and get more fans and subscribers to my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Especially with this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. And part of it too, I feel like the skill that was missing before, but that we need as comedians, is you have to have now like video editing skills. You have to have social media skills. You have to have a social media presence. There's a lot more time-consuming and things that you have to do besides just working on your craft. If you're going to get it out there, you have to have these other skills to get it to work.
Yeah. So what's your favorite joke of all time?
My own or somebody else's?
Both.
Okay, well, somebody else's joke, not everybody thinks it's funny, but I just think it's always stuck with me. I thought it was really funny. I was a local comedian here in the Springs, Nyland Vigil. He said, vampires and people are the same but opposite. People are always worried about blood in their poop. So vampires are worried about poop in their blood. I don't know. I always thought that one was funny. And I guess my own joke, that's my favorite. Well, one that I came up with is the one-liner that works really well is blowjob stuff. People have always kind of liked that one. And then my deer and hobo joke. I mean, it was one of the first ones I ever wrote, and it's a long one, but it's like my favorite joke where I compare deer and hobos. It didn't do as well. I remember I think I did it in California when I was there at that mic for like 3 years ago, and I realized it's just different mentality. Like, it's not quite a joke that transfers over state lines as well. It's more like a local joke in Colorado with our hobos and our deer. But I'll never stop doing it. It's my favorite.
Yeah. My favorite joke of all time is this one Eddie Murphy told on his Delirious special to a couple 13-year-olds in the audience. A bear and a rabbit are taking a shit in the woods. A bear says to the rabbit, "Excuse me, sir, do you have a problem with shit sticking to your fur?" The rabbit says no. So the bear wiped his ass with the rabbit.
Oh. That's funny. Oh, and then I can't always think of all the ones he does, but Mitch Hedberg gets me, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Like, one line, it's just, escalators are just, or what is these, like, escalators that are broken are just stairs. So it's just like, he just, like, gets me every time. The way he looks at life, he's one of my favorites. It's just how he gets me every time.
Oh, yeah. They gave me a receipt for the donut. I love that.
Yeah, he's just amazing. And that's why I think we have so many comedians that leave us too early, is that we're all a little messed up, Like, we all have our own shows. To be like that funny and that successful, you have to have, like, problems or issues. And that happens with every comedian. We're all just a little off.
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of comedians live such short lives.
Oh, I'm surprised Doug Stanhope is still with us. I saw a show he did like a couple years ago where he looked like he was fucked up on stage, right? And he was talking about not doing drugs anymore. And then he told a long-winded story about getting high with Mitch Hedberg one time, and it went nowhere. It was very pedestrian. And I'm like, oh my God. They say this guy's a genius, because I had never really watched much of Doug Stanhope, and like I had heard that he was a genius. I was like, this is fucking awful, the show that he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've
lost. It happens. I mean, you'll get big names up there, and they've toured, and they're so confident in their sets that they'll just do a bunch of drugs or not sleep or whatever. You get up on stage, and people are just like, oh, like, this is not right.
Yeah. And then my favorite joke of mine, I may have said it the night that you saw me. I can't remember. I was saying it a lot during that time because I thought about it at that time. My girlfriend broke up with me because she didn't like the kind of condoms we were using. Apparently, she likes the kind with other men's penises in them.
That's a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of people who like that one. They're every time I see them, they're like, "Are you gonna do that joke tonight? Are you gonna do that joke?" You know, they just love that one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite one, though.
Good.
I was curious, Mel. I saw a picture not too long ago where you, I think you had just gotten a pedicure or something. What color are your toenails painted?
Right now, they're sky blue.
Sky blue, like a Easter egg color.
Yeah, like a robin's egg. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I got white French tip with sparkles on mine.
Oh, very good. That's hot extra.
Yeah. I like to pamper myself and get them done every so often.
Yep, me too. Treat yourself.
Yeah. Well, Mel, I thank you so much for taking the time today. This was an awful lot of fun, and I'd like to have you back on again someday in the future.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. This was great. I enjoy it. I love working and collaborating with other comedians anytime. It's always fun.
Absolutely.
Get together and listen to the different scenes of comparison.
Absolutely. I certainly learned a lot about the Colorado scene, and
yeah,
I can see why guys like Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan want to move back to Colorado and stuff. I mean, it obviously sounds really good out there.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's going well. And Denver, not only does it have a lot of comedians, it has a lot of audience members, which has been super exciting. And Fort Collins is like that too, and Colorado Springs is getting better. To be a comedian, you also have to have people to say it to. So it's been really nice to see more and more of the public understanding that what they see on Netflix is great, but if they go out in their own community and find local shows, it's just being there and the electricity of having everybody live comedy just can't be beat. And I think people are starting to realize that more and more, that that's what you should be doing, going out and experiencing it live.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, do you have any shows tonight or coming up that you want to plug?
Well, I do have a show tonight. Are you going to be able to post this today on Thursday?
Yeah.
8, what is today?
Within the next half hour, I'll be posting it.
Okay, yeah, very good. I do have a show tonight. It's a benefit show, but I'll have it on my Facebook if people just want to. All my comedy shows are posted on Melody Klema. That's the Facebook business. That's my comedy page, and that one is spelled MELODYKLEMA, Melody Klema, Melody Klema. She is so cool and funny and great. And so I have a benefit show for a radio station tonight, which is really cool. KCMJ, they're a local radio station, and I'll be performing with 10 other comedians. So it's a stacked show. It's all kind of the best comedians in the region, which is exciting tonight. And then my show that I host is always the first Saturday of the month. It's called Local Till Last Call. Local Till Last Call. And that's on Facebook as well. But our next one will be August 4th. So I always showcase a local comedian and a local musician, and then we have an open mic. And it's Local Till Last Call. It's a really fun show.
Oh, that's great. I hope you knock them dead. I hope you knock them dead over there.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm stoked. It's going to be a good time.
Awesome. Thank you, Mel, and you have yourself a great day.
Awesome. Thanks, Tommy. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Mel Klema. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Mel. It was really good talking about the Colorado comedy scene and comparing it to San Francisco and all that stuff. And it was a lot of fun. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.